I work in a school library with a woman who reads different papers to me. Papers that shout through open doors and scarper down the science block when Mr. Peters comes. Papers that hold back the feel and a strut and a sway and a spit at the little kids and call the Polish boys puffs and rip the middle pages out of their books. Papers that admit in empty classrooms at 3:30 that they don't know when Dad's getting out, and that makes their lips and their fists shake when they look at me. And she recounts these scared stories of famed intrigue. Like on her first day when she seemed friendly and I was pleased, having typed alone in an empty room since January. She sat down and said, "You heard the news?" And I waited, breath-baited, for her views on Italian elections and press reform and HIV cures and who to vote for Pope and how many people died in Iran on Monday. But all of that paled in comparison to Pippa Middleton's yellow coat and boys marrying grandmothers and somewhere not English and capital letters of arson and attack and none of it deserved and the Queen's diarrhea and Prince Charles smiling and another one drinking and Kate Middleton's hat and she's pregnant. Did you hear that she's pregnant? And in between these fleeting tastes of the world outside, the books and the walls, she plays the lottery. She says it's her only toe dip into accountancy as her husband who normally deals with the money and her luck's coming up. She can feel it, that change on the breeze, but she'd never give it to charity though. I mean, who can you trust? I don't know what to do with it. She took over the books like conquering land with the plastic cubes in risk. She says there's too many. Takes them to the tip in boxes that get caught in the boot of her car. They're piled so high. And the ones that are left, well, the kids don't treat them the way she wants them to treat them. Like the girl who never wears her tie or blazer. Pug-faced from indignation, told there's no time for you, go back to class, but she can't go back empty-handed, so she slaps a grab a horrid Henry Volume 3 for the librarian, quick to protect her loose, snaps her palm down to save it. Skin on skin, and all those Daily Mail headlines paste the walls, and I see her imprinted in every one as the girl explodes into tears and looks at me. "Miss?" Question mark. Go back to class. And there are statements half-heartedly taken, and I don't lie, I just keep quiet, and nothing comes of it because everyone's too terrified of anything coming of it. On World Book Day comes, with a briefcase and a suit, and he hands me his coat and tells me his coffee's too strong and instructs the kids to silence with the story of his tie. His tie's got a TARDIS on. None of the kids know what a TARDIS is, because Mathnip is out and the plot got too tough, and "Sir, when can we go? I hate books." And he stuns. Clenching his knuckles like clutching a Michael Gove report, he spits that this kid better get used to it, give education a year and he'll be charged the light brigade by heart and then he'll know how life can be hard, and suddenly all the bright lights of World Book Day fades and a fight in the corridor pulls down a poster of Tony Robinson's face. And her expressions change so quickly. Like she's slagging off Sita in the office for chewing too loudly, chewing too often, chewing the wrong thing, and then Sita walks in, she grins. Starts bitching about the kids. Because they're always there, they laugh too much, fart too much, look at her too much, like they want something, one of them was want something, what do they want? And I only work part-time, so I only hear half of this, it's the kids who get the full show. And at work, at lunch, she tells me how her diet is better than mine. I say I'm not on one. She doesn't care, because hers is about only eating lettuce, only eating things that are yellow, only eating on days that begin with an S and a T, and never eating when she's always eating. And Jess, have you noticed how Sita in the office is always eating? And she'll try anything to keep the crowds out. Her and back down the English block, she stands at the door dictating faces that come past and I promise they sit in silence, speak when spoken to, but make themselves noticeable and don't touch the books. If you want one, you take it. Don't peruse, don't fiddle, don't read the blurb, decide it's not for you, then replace it back on the wrong shelf. Don't bring it back torn or folded or wet or enjoyed or crimped or thumbed or carried in a rucksack for a week to find any opportunity just to love it in a stairwell or under a desk. And if they do, they get a letter home, a ransom note. It's her favourite part of the day, rattling off addresses, announcing how unsurprised she is that Megan brought that Tracy Beaker 3 days late in from that corner of the estate. And then Megan's bound for 2 weeks. When she protests, it becomes a month. And a stamp of her foot and a bitch under her breath gets her a life sentence. And this is Megan who loves books. She's got an imagination you can drown in, and now she just hangs around outside, sticking her chewing gum in the windows of the canteen. She glares at me. One day, the deputy head pulls me in and tells me it's my job to get them in between the pages picking up books. She gives me a job title with the word champion in it and targets to meet by Christmas. I'm walking back along the 4th period corridor through the double doors. She is in between 2 piles. The shelves are bare. One pile's near toppling, reaching the panel ceiling, and the other one's barely up to her knees. What are you doing? I say. And she's up like I'm going to tell on her. Did you know how much filth is in this room? She says. She's picking up titles from the highest pile, throwing them in the bin with the juice packets and the apple cores, listing their faults like it's my fault. The Kite Runner, rape and buggery. Adrian Moral masturbation, Jane Eyre woman kept hostage against her will, White Teeth Cult religion, Black Beauty bestiality, Time Travel's wife sex with a minor, Macbeth through violent, Regeneration too gay, Great Gatsby too much drinking, D.H. Lawrence, don't get me started. It's all over the headlines, she says. Kids aren't safe on streets and in schools, and these books are like bombs, turning teenagers into weapons, filling their heads with dirt and desire, and I will not sit back and watch this country go to rot. Thank you.